Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to my channel. Please ignore the sound of my fan. It's hot up in here. But I am to talk about the books that I read in the month of May. So as you guys know, May was supposed to be my romance reading month. And y'all tried to put me in a slump. But I have a reading vlog that's coming out that kind of talks about everything. So let's talk about the first book that I read in the month of May was The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Junanda Petros. That was a 5 out of 5 star read, guys. That book was so touching and just so beautiful. I don't know how we're putting that in the romance category, but apparently we still are. I guess because they fell in love. But this story was so much more than a romance story. This story was a love story. This was a story of a community of people loving each other. I cannot express how amazing it was to have a Black family with both parents gardening, doing yoga, vegan. It was so nice. All the Black people in this story were portrayed as normal humans doing normal human things, and I could literally make a whole video about why Stars and the Blackness Between Them was so amazing. In fact, we might get a book. It might be 5. I might do 5. But honestly, I cried on multiple scenes of the Stars and the Blackness Between Them, and none of them was to do with their love story. It was everything to do with Mabel's sickness and her family and their connections, and just she's got me wanting to go back and look at my birth chart all over again, and look at my friend's birth chart. She's got me wanting to go back and just look at how I'm connected to people. And so I have to thank Jananda. Thank you for writing this book. I don't know how people consider it romance. It's so much bigger than a romance book. But yeah, I loved it. The second book that I read is the book club pick of the quarter, which is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. And this was a typical romance. This was basically a rom-com without the com part. You'll see in the reading vlog. I was not the biggest fan of this book. I mean, as far as a romance book is concerned, I'm okay, it's cute. But I don't understand the whole trope of dating your ex's sibling. That will just never click well for me, because I'm always what about sibling code or bro code? Ew, no, that doesn't make sense. There's nothing in my mind that can justify me wanting to date one of my ex's siblings. It doesn't make sense. So because that trope to me is just really trashy, it was hard for me to accept this as a actual love story. I was really annoyed with the constant reminder of women of color having to control their emotions. I really hated that. I cannot stress that enough. It was mentioned so many times in this book that by the end of the book, I wanted to just throw my iPad against the wall and be we get it. We get it. Sis is emotional and she doesn't want to show it because it makes her seem powerless. We get it. But I mean, other than that, it was a typical romance book, and I could be perfectly fine living in this world without ever reading another one. That's just real talk. So after I finally got through The Worst Best Man, I was over it. So I finished the book last Friday, and today is the 23rd. So I'm going to start another romance book, and we'll see if I get it done by the end of May, but I'm not really sure. So it'll just be on my TBR for June. So I read my library let me know that a audiobook that I had on hold was finally available, and that was A Part of Your World by Liz Braswell. That is one of the Disney twisted tales. Y'all know I love those. I still recommend people read Reflection by Elizabeth Lim, but it wasn't bad. The premise of this story is, what if Ariel did not defeat Ursula? So in the Little Mermaid movie, She defeats Ursula by Eric pretty much driving a boat into her chest. Yeah. Well, in this book, Ursula wins. Triton gives up his life, and Eric is still under her spell, and she marries Eric and becomes Princess Vanessa. And Ariel ends up getting her fins back and going back down into the sea and becoming queen of the mer people, but not having a voice. Y'all know me. I like really twisted, dark scenarios. So to me, this would have been like, imagine if the first Little Mermaid ended like that, and then this was the sequel. Not the Little Mermaid 2, where her daughter literally does the exact thing that she did, just in reverse, with an evil sorcerer and everything. I digress. It's one of the worst Disney sequels of all time. I don't care. Fight me. I don't care. So like, what if this was the original way that Little Mermaid ended and this was the sequel? I found it interesting. I liked the fact that Ariel was reflecting on it and like kind of making fun of herself, where she was like, oh, like I was young and dumb trying to do all this for a dude. Like, it was like, thank you. We all agree, girl, you was dumb. We all agree that your daddy was right. We all agree that she was out here wilding. You know, we all agree. So I like that part. Prince Eric. The best way to describe Prince Eric in this book is like, he basically, like when he finally sees the light, it's like he's been stuck under a fog for so long that he hasn't matured as much as Ariel. And so he comes off a little reckless. Like, it was multiple times where I was like, sir, you doing a lot. Like, you real bold with it. Like, you gonna get caught. And Ursula's character, I think because I've read a couple of Sea Witch retellings where Ursula is a nicer character than the Disney portrayed Ursula. So when I read it, I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, like, there was a moment in the book where it tried to make me feel bad for the Disney version of Ursula, and it's hard for me to feel bad for her. It just is. And the ending of the book, the build up to the end of the book was great. The actual ending showdown or whatever was kind of like, all right, no big deal. I think I gave the book 3 out of 5 stars, but it was an audiobook and it was a very quick read. It was a 9-hour audiobook and I did it in a day. Like, I just listened to it the whole time I was at work. So it was good. It wasn't great, but it gave me a romance break, because the 2 books that I wanted to read for romance was a Beverly Jenkins, so Destiny's Surrender by Beverly Jenkins, and then Wonder by Christina C. Jones was the other book that I was going to read, and both of those were on hold at my library, so hopefully they'll become available in June. But just to let you guys know, I'm gonna finish what I started. I have 4 romance books, so I'm going to finish. I did not get to finish this month, but I'm going to finish. No worries. Again, thank you guys so much for checking out my channel, and until the next time, guys, bye.